And there are different, anecdotal pieces. One of them that got a lot of publicity about 18 months ago was a federal court system announced they would no longer take law students out of Yale University Law School. They said the law school was so out of sync with teaching basic law principles that the students weren't qualified to be in the federal court system. So I think when you see pieces like that, and our judiciary generally not regarded as the hotbed of conservatism. I mean, certainly there's some there, but I think that was more of an objective statement that we've lost focus on fundamental education, and it's a stunning situation. And I know that in I was talking to a student the other day, one of my undergraduate students who's applying to a special program at Columbia. And I was very honest. I was pushing him. He's applied to 3 other universities, and I was pushing him away from Columbia in favor of schools that might not be necessarily less liberal, but at least a little less crazy. And I always found it interesting with this issue of anti-Semitism, because you've got 2 family groups, and I know this can unfortunately sound a little politically incorrect, but you have Asian families and Jewish families have historically put a lot of pressure on their kids to succeed in the lower grades and to go to the best possible colleges. And yet the Ivies in particular, and of course the big Supreme Court case was brought by Asian students, not Jewish students, but Asian students who said they were being discriminated against at Harvard. And of course, Harvard lost that case. But it's interesting because you have people who invest in their children. That's why I did well in high school, because my parents were crazy, and neither of my parents went to college. But they were like, "You're going to go to college. You're going to go to college. You're going to go to college." I went to college. I mean, in fact, all of us did, all 7 of us did. And it's just interesting because it's like, if you're going to discriminate against somebody, why would you pick the people who make the investment to get their kids to work hard and study hard?
I think it's not just the government, but also the private sector that is forcing this cultural correction we're seeing. In addition to what you just said about Yale law students, we also saw a year and a half ago that major law firms in New York, were saying we're not going to hire Harvard law students who were engaged in the campus protests.
Mm-hmm.
You're also seeing mega donors who are successful businessmen in the country pull their money out of planned donations. The Ivies have lost billions of dollars over their mismanagement of their campuses. Never mind, the anti-Semitism that is wreaking havoc still at those schools. And we're also seeing a lot of corporations, especially in the tech sector, like IBM, like Google, come out and either soften or eliminate 4-year degree requirements for hiring, because one thing that has really crystallized for Americans of all backgrounds in the last year and a half, while we're seeing this anti-Semitism crisis unfold, is that diplomas are becoming worth less every day. And having a college degree is no longer a guarantee of preparedness socially, intellectually, or any other kind of maturity quality that you can succeed in the workforce or in society after graduation. So I think the free market here is really playing a heroic role in forcing this culture shift to actually happen and take place in higher education.
This is Dr. David D. Schein. Thanks for joining me for this special edition of Saving America. Remember, a new Saving America show is aired on the Brushwood Media Network every Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Listen on any of the 16 network stations, Apple or Google mobile app, Apple CarPlay, TuneIn, Smart Speaker, and all smart TVs. Find more information at the brushwoodmedianetwork.com. Please be sure to join us each week. We welcome and love your feedback from our growing audience.